smart, Mike. Tara says aim, fire, or shoot, fire, aim is how Tara does it.
I don't think aim ever comes into it.
Yes. All right, guys. Rhonda, I will answer your question in just a minute after we talk about, oh my goodness, what did you guys think of my Stanley Cup video on Monday? So the format we're trying to take just a little bit here is doing a video on Monday and then Wednesday talking about it a little bit more. And so as we were setting up for this video, I was looking for, trying to find some logical reason why people are buying these Stanley Cups. And I just could not understand it. And even the person who will remain nameless in our family who bought one gave me all the perks and everything and kept trying to tell me what they loved about it. I was like, okay, but the Quick Trip Cup does the same thing. Now, the person who shall remain nameless, but we love anyway, who bought it,
wasn't me.
is completely debt-free, and I was not hollering at them about buying their Stanley Cup. I really don't care. If you buy a Stanley Cup, if you are debt-free and you are not asking for money from your parents or whatever. Okay, so as I was doing my footage, show the picture of the gal with the cups.
This one? Oh.
Did that get in there? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to put the thumbnail.
Oh, I thought you said you loaded it. Okay.
Hold on a second.
Just a second. Mike's going to get the picture up here. But as I was going through looking at these videos.
Wait, did you just want the cups themselves or the whole thumbnail?
I wanted to see the cups.
Oops.
As we were going through trying to see this, I'm like trying to understand. Now, you guys have to understand, these people are influencers. Yes, you could add those two real quick. These people are influencers. When you hear that word, that means they make money recommending products. And I'll tell you, I've had an issue with this for the entire 25 years we've been doing these things. There are money-saving bloggers who have been doing this for 20 plus years, claiming how they're saving people money. And to their credit, they do tell regular frugal things on their thing, on their blogs and stuff. But the majority of it was selling people stuff and having them sell all these things. And that's how they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, guys. These people are making close to $1 million a year. Believe me, I know we are in this realm. No, we're not making $1 million a year because we're not telling people to buy every little new gadget that comes around. But these influencers, they get paid to do this. Stanley paid these ladies to promote their cup. Now, yes, the first few cups, they were like, oh, this is great. But the next little bit, they were paid for these cups. So Mike's going to show this cup collection here. Look at this woman I found. I counted over 70 Stanley Cups. Over 70. Now, some of these are closer to $50. Excuse me. And I know that some of these are closer to $30. So I just averaged it down, and it was about $2,000 for all these cups. Look at this. Okay.
Wow.
So
let's
put this. Can you put it so that I'm side by side here? Let's put this in actual money here.
That only works if we do it.
Okay.
As a share.
Never mind. Okay. Let's say she spent $2,000 on these cups. That means that if she's working for $20 an hour, she would have to work to earn $4,000 to pay for these cups. after she pays for 25% taxes, and then after she pays another 25% in cost of working charges, like that's not even including daycare. That's including driving her car back and forth, stuff like Secret Santas, parties, clothes for work, that's food for work, all of this kind of stuff. So if you're a working mom and you need to know how much something is actually costing you, you need to double the amount that it's costing you, because it's going to cost you about double the amount by the time you pay for taxes and all of your work expenses. Okay. So by the time this mom worked for these cups,
You need this back.
yeah, kind of. She was working for 200 hours. Can you show these cups again? Yeah. 200 hours, which is 25 days, 5 weeks of her life. You can come back. To pay for these cups, if she's making $20 an hour. Let that sink in. Just let that sink in. The thing is, I know that our viewers probably don't have this issue. And I get that this is just a hobby for this lady and this is her collection. But she has so many cups that she could only use one 3 times a year. Each one would be used 3 times a year. And she gave up 5 weeks of her life working for that. No one who is doing this type of thing is letting it sink in how much of their life they are giving away for this stuff. Hello, Kimmy. They are not comprehending. She could have taken off 5 weeks worth of work. 5 weeks worth of work. If she wouldn't have bought those cups, if she's making $20 an hour. And this is the thing that we are trying to get the point across to people, and we're really going to be pushing it this year. As a matter of fact, we had talked about, I don't know, we're going to start working on it, but Mike and I were talking about doing our own budgeting course, because I'm getting so tired of listening to all these budgeting experts. Well, you budget in your car payment, you budget in your vacation, you budget in your entertainment, you budget in your cable. No, you don't. If you are in debt, you don't budget any of it in. You cut it all. And it doesn't matter if it's in your budget. If you're in debt, you cannot afford it, period. And you need to stop spending money buying it, period. Just stop. And I was so excited. We got a comment on last Wednesday's show, I think. This gal said, it never occurred to me that, and this is exactly the person I was talking about. She said, it never occurred to me that just because it's in the budget doesn't mean that I should be buying it.
That's why Tar doesn't like budgets.
That's why we don't budget. It has absolutely nothing to do with your budget. Absolutely nothing to do with your budget.
I thought it was really interesting. I saw a YouTube short today, and this lady was there, and she bought 3 of them, although it sounded like the one she wanted didn't come because she was also buying them for friends. But anyway, her husband was criticizing her in this video, and she said, "Oh, stop criticizing me. It's how I have my sense of community." It's like, so you're buying a $50 cup?
Yeah.
So you can feel like you're friends with
I know
people
who
you don't
exactly
know
you're
who
talking
have a $50 cup. So you can wink at each other at the grocery store. I got mine too.
But I'll tell you, those people right there, that was a business expense for them.
The ones that had the giant collection?
No, the ones that you're talking about that with the sense of community. They're huge influencers.
I didn't know who they were.
I know who they are. And they're huge influencers. And they will get paid for those so they can take that off on their taxes. Now, here's the thing. I'm not knocking these influencers. This is their business. This is how they earn money. Just like we earn money off of our cookbooks. Right here, 99 cookbooks, guys, 25% off. We earn money on our cookbooks. I'm not knocking these influencers. But don't sit there and tell me you're saving money by getting a good deal on Legos. You're getting a good deal on an Instant Pot. You're getting a good deal on the newest purse, whatever. And I don't know, guys, type 1 if I'm making sense. Type 2 if you think I'm totally off my rocker. We'll see who thinks I'm totally off my rocker. But and
They're
give
typing
me
1 and 2. What?
And give me a thumbs up, guys, if you totally agree with all of this. It helps the algorithm know to push us out, and we really appreciate it. But thank you. Everyone doesn't think I'm off my rocker. Hey, wait, what do you mean you type 2?
I typed 1 and 2. You're right, and you're off your rocker. I've been married to you long enough to know.
But can you pull up the next frame that I have? I saw this shared on Facebook, and I was like, this is so true. These same people who are sitting here complaining about how they can't afford this and they can't afford that. Oh, shoot.
Is that not the one?
But you can't see it. It says,
it's only
what
us.
happens when you
blocking them.
What happens when you buy a Stanley Cup, acrylic nails, and lash extensions instead of new tires? And this is the Crow Wing County Department of Memes.
Which is apparently in Minnesota. I Googled it.
And you can come back to me. I don't know how many people sent me this meme. I don't know. I had several people sending me this meme. And I'm like, I'm using that on Wednesday's show, actually. Because this is the truth. Everybody says, well, I need to go get my nails done because it just makes me feel good about myself. Well, how much better do you feel when you're not sitting in a ditch? Because for those same nails, for 2 months worth of those nails and hair, you could have gone and got new snow tires and not have to worry about buying a new car because your beater might break down. No, the reason why you can't afford repairs on your beater is because you're doing all of these things like nails and lashes and Stanley Cups. So then I found my next meme. Go ahead, dear.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, this is so true. Sometimes it's not the devil. It's the decision.
Amen, girlfriend.
I don't know how many people, you can come back to me. You don't know how many people say, oh, the devil is just pushing me this week. Oh, the devil is just all over me this week. Well, come to find out, this is especially true with Christians. Well, come to find out, the devil isn't the one that made you buy that new snowmobile. The devil isn't the one that made you get that car with the car payments. Those are decisions you made. That's not the devil. You made the decision to get your nails done instead of getting snow tires for your car. Angela says, my husband will tell you that he works in a management for a huge tire retailer, and he said people will buy $100,000 cars and can't afford to put tires on them, and also will not prioritize their safety or their kids' safety to buy the tires. I know. I absolutely know. I know. Hey, Natalie, I want to know what you think of the Buffalo Hospital. We might be doing a procedure there. I want your input on that, please. So a lot of times, especially as Christians, it is your decisions that you are making that are causing all of these issues. It has nothing to do the devil. That man that you married, he was calling you names and slamming you up against the wall before you got married. He was a bum before you got married.
Sorry.
So don't be saying how the devil is tearing your marriage apart. No, you made a bad decision and you shouldn't have married the bum in the first place. That decision to go and get $100,000 in student loans and then you're getting paid $25,000 a year. No, that's a stupid decision. Stupid. That's not the devil. We have got to start putting in perspective how much this stuff is costing us. Just like that lady with the 200 or the 70 plus Stanley Cups, $2,000 worth of Stanley Cups, costing her 5 weeks of her life. 5 weeks of her life. I talked to a friend one time who was physically ill from her job and was having to go on disability because she was physically ill from the stress of her job. And I said, if you wouldn't buy this new car, you could take off a year and a half from work and rest and recuperate. And she was like, well, no, because I can't have somebody else's germs in my car. And yet this same person had no problem going on vacation,
sleeping in a
quite
hotel room?
frequently sleeping in a hotel room. And I know she didn't take her own sheets and towels and everything.
It's funny the things that people choose to be clean freaks about or germ freaks about.
So anyway, guys, this is just I am just trying to wake you up. Stop throwing your life away for things like a cup. Stop throwing your life away. Go ahead and send me the comments. Stop throwing your life away for things like going to a restaurant where you spend $50 to $75 a pop now. For the cheap, just running to the McDonald's after work. People are spending $50 for 4 people. Easy.
At McDonald's?
At McDonald's. Get Dining on a Dime cookbook. 25% off right now, guys, and learn how to cook. If you can't afford that, you can if you're going to McDonald's. But if you can't afford that, go to our website. We have 1,500 pages of recipes. We have thousands of recipes on our website teaching you how to cook. We have over 2,000 videos on our YouTube channel. I have super easy recipes YouTube channel where I'm teaching people how to cook. Learn it. And let me tell you, if you don't know how to cook, until you learn how to cook, you need to be at home eating cereal instead of spending $50 to $75 a pop to go get dinner out to eat. It is absolutely ludicrous what people are doing. Absolutely ludicrous. There's no reason for people to be doing this. And it's time we started waking up. This economy, I saw an article the other day that says, why are Americans struggling when unemployment is at its lowest and pay is at its highest? And everybody's like, inflation, inflation, inflation. Inflation has nothing to do with it. Inflation has zero to do with it. It is your spending. I was looking today at templates for budgeting, for our budgeting course that we're talking about doing. And as I was looking there, like halfway through, they had entertainment. Number 3 or 4 was cable.
Wow.
Number 3 or 4 was cable. And I was looking at this budget thinking, okay, all of these things, kids sports activities, ridiculous. There's zero reason for parents to be paying thousands of dollars for kids sports. Zero. No reason at all. Kids sports activities, cable, Netflix, Hulu, entertainment, vacation, car payments, phone payments. If you are in debt, 0 of this should be in your budget. 0 of it.
But most debt is because this priority was out of order in the first place. Like, it's funny, we used to live in this 800 square foot house, which is small. And we were having trouble with 4 of us and 2 dogs in that house. And this old guy came and said, "Oh, this is the house I grew up in. Oh, except that part was added on and that part was added on." So it was like a 600 square foot house. And he said, "Yeah, my parents raised 12 of us kids in this house." Well, the reason why is because they just didn't have a lot of stuff. And it's fine that we have some stuff now that wasn't available then, but it doesn't mean just because it's available, we have to have all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think debt primarily comes from things that we don't really need.
Yeah.
That somebody persuades us we need to buy so we can be in a community together.
Yeah. Yep, I totally get it. Okay, guys, I'm going to get your comments and questions. Mike, did you already send them to me?
I sent you one batch.
Okay. Dining on a Good Dime Cookbook says, I'm telling you not to buy anything. But guys, our cookbooks are a frugal cooking encyclopedia. You will save going to the grocery store the first time you go to the grocery store. Guys, comment and tell people, has it helped you save? Because here's the thing. I don't have a problem with you buying things if they will actually save you money. It's fine to buy a stainless steel travel cup, but buy it at the thrift store for 50 cents or $1 instead of $50.
Or wait till March and buy your Stanley Cup for $10 at the thrift store.
Seriously.
Well, we already had somebody in the comments say that they got one of their family members got one for their daughter, and now they're trying to sell it because she doesn't
even like it.
She liked it at the beginning. But it's funny because actually this goes back to the debt thing. When we got married, I had what I thought was a lot of debt, although compared to what people have now, it was almost no debt.
Yeah.
But what I realized is I would want something and I would want it and I'd want it and I'd want it and I'd finally get it. And as soon as I got it, it wasn't exciting anymore. And I think that's the case that so many people have. But you got to realize in that moment, whenever I want it real bad and then I get it, I don't care anymore. So why waste the money?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Diane Dime Cookbook size 25% off right now in the description below. Also, we have our undated planners, 366 days, 400 pages, undated. You can see every single page of all of our books on the sales pages in the description below. All right. We are going to get to questions. And if you have a question or comment, please go ahead and post it and Mike will send it to me. Kimmy from She's in Her Apron says, well, I think you're off your rocker, but for other reasons.
See, she knows all your deep, dark secrets. Well, maybe not all of them, but that's just because we haven't got together to hang out yet. Well, we've hung out, just not here.
I was almost headed to Utah to see Kimmy to get a medical procedure done today because it was going to save $5,000.
Kimmy could come visit you in the hospital.
Yeah, she
Wouldn't that be
could.
nice?
Kathy, this is totally off subject. I was roasting a turkey from your overnight recipe and it had only 2 hours left. It was daytime. My husband was out on the farm and I was home about 25 minutes away. He called and when I answered, he had injured his back. I turned off the oven after the emergency back surgery. I got home 12 hours later. Is my turkey still good? I put it in the fridge when I got home at 6:30 a.m. A little afraid to finish the cooking time. Oh, 12 hours.
I probably wouldn't.
Man, if you would have said 5 or 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 hours, I would be okay with that because your oven will keep the heat for probably 3 or 4 hours. It will keep the heat enough to keep it warm, at least 3 or 4 hours. But I would say since he just had back surgery, which I hope he's doing okay, that I wouldn't risk getting food poisoning. It's not worth the $15 you paid for a turkey to risk another few thousand with food poisoning, especially with back surgery. So no, I probably wouldn't. Now, here's what I would have done in that situation if anybody has this happen again. Next time, what you can do is you can put a thermometer in the thigh of the turkey. And if it's still 165 degrees or higher, then you're okay. All right. Sharon, I think it's the very young that want these cups. Yeah.
Well, it's the very young,
I don't know.
It's also a lot of college and young adult people.
Yeah.
It's like the lady said in the video that I saw, you feel like you belong to something important. The irony is, in the video that I saw, the husband was like, well, last year you had this. And she's like, well, I know. But she said she used some kind of new word that basically means it's passe now, that other cup. I forgot what the new word is, but I actually had to look it up to see what it means. But it's just one of those things like, oh, well, I know that was super exciting to me last year, but now it's so yesterday's news.
And listen, I have no problem if you want to buy any of this stuff if you're debt-free. Like the person I know that bought it is debt-free, has a very good savings, is working hard at their job. I have no problem with that. But if you have debt up to into your eyeballs, if you have debt up to your eyeballs,
oh, into your eyeballs too,
and into your, then you need to stop buying this stuff.
Well, I would have to say, you said you're fine if people aren't in debt. What I would say is, if you buy a lot of things like this that you really don't need, that are overpriced because everybody's doing it, then do what you want. I just don't want to hear you complaining about inflation and the economy,
and you can't afford
and how
groceries.
Expensive prices are, and how you can't afford medical bills and groceries. Because the reason why so many people have trouble with this is because they're affording the stupid things. And then after they afford the stupid things, they look at what's left for the important things like groceries and doctor bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Laura, I used to collect keychains. Yeah, I know. A lot of people used to collect all kinds of things, and that's fine. I totally get that. But when I was collecting those things, I actually had the money to do so, and I wasn't in debt. Like, I collect gnomes, but I asked for them for my birthday and Christmas presents instead of what normal women do, like, diamonds. So
well, and some things you collect and they actually keep their value. But if it's a collector's edition, it's guaranteed to be a quarter at the thrift store next year.
I know someone who spent thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on Beanie Babies. And they were literally sitting and rotting in tubs because they were going to be collector's items and they were going to be able to sell them. It was crazy. Oh, Karen loved our Stanley skit. Wait till you see our hormone skit. You guys think the Stanley one was funny. I think that's going to be great when we do it. Okay. Yes, Karen says people are making gods out of objects. Yes, they are. Kimberly, cleaning up from having 15 chicken seasoned salt and a little bit of Italian seasoning along with stuffing and green beans and cranberry sauce. Easy, quick, ready in 15 minutes. It was so delicious. Yay! That is great. Lori, 22 here in Washington. Yes, 5 inches of snow today so far. Oh my, are we supposed to be getting that storm coming? Are we supposed to be getting more snow? Oh dear.
Well, today it said there was an 88% chance and it was blue sky all day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we're supposed to be nice weather, I think, the next couple of days.
Sarah and Chloe say budgeting course would be great. Sandy, haven't had regular cable in over 20 years. Kayla, I don't get it. It's just a stupid cup. I know. What's wrong with the world today? So what's wrong with the world today is, and I was talking about Mom, it's like people are just deceived. The Bible talks about in end times, people being deceived. And they just truly cannot think for themselves. So like this whole global warming thing. Well, everyone started pointing out all the discrepancies and that global warming wasn't actually happening. And so now we had to change it to climate change. Well, so now we have people like our climate czar, so stupid, Kerry, going to Switzerland or wherever in his jet, probably spends more money flying around in that jet than most Americans would do in 10 or 20 lifetimes. And yet he's telling us we can't have gas stoves and can't have gas cars. Let me tell you, all these people who just came through this heat wave, this heat wave. We're having a heat wave today. 10 degrees. This cold snap last week at negative 30. I bet you're real happy to have coal mines right now. Let's see your solar panels be keeping up with the heat now. Our son rented an electric car, an 11-hour trip, a trip that should have taken him 11 hours, took him 20 hours because he could not get it charged and stay charged, because he could only go, what did he say, 90 miles on a charge, because the heater was using more electricity than the car. And he was seriously thinking about turning off the heater in negative temperatures.
He said he turned it off for a lot of the drive because he didn't think he was going to make it.
Then he went to go charge it in a few cities. He couldn't charge it. You want to know why? The power was out.
Well, also...
And these stupid people think that by 2050, we're supposed to be able to just all drive electric cars. Seriously?
Well, there were also a lot of people... There were huge... He said in Wichita, there were hours and hours worth of waiting.
People are in Teslas and they can't even get it to 1% after charging for hours. For hours. And yet people fall for this stuff every single day. Kamala Harris going on and on and on about how we have to get rid of all of our gas stoves. She's standing right there with a Christmas picture or whatever with her gas stove right there. She's not the first one giving it up. Al Gore's not giving up his huge house that's thousands of square feet. You don't see him living in a tiny house. Barack Obama's not living in a tiny house. Kerry's not living in a tiny house. But yet people fall for this stuff.
Well, they're also living right on the shore and giving dire predictions that the whole East Coast is going to be underwater by 2000. Wait, that was 23 years ago?
I mean, it's just ridiculous. But people, instead of looking at the facts, they just listen to these yahoos going on and on instead of actually looking for the facts in these things. All right. So yeah, everybody's just being deceived now, and it's the end times, and the Bible has already told us this is going to be happening. That's why people like us keep hollering, because we're like, wake up. This baloney you keep hearing on the news and all these other places is not true. Stop listening to it. Katie says those cups are overrated. My brother and his wife, who don't have debt, bought their $10 one for Christmas, used it once and doesn't like it. Now they're trying to sell it on Facebook. Yeah. See, what's happening now is now all these people are selling these Stanley Cups for $10,000, where they're not going to be able to sell them because the market's saturated now. And I think that we've seen the peak of the Stanley Cup. Now, this guy's great at marketing, who's in charge of Stanley. But even he couldn't keep Crocs going.
Well, I mean...
Crocs was done after about 3 or 4 years. It had its peak probably about a year, 18 months. And then it had a couple of years where it was still fairly popular. But then now Crocs are nothing. So you can keep it going for so long, and that's fine. I mean, and I don't blame Stanley. My goodness, if you go from $75 million to $750 million in sales, hey, cash in that dough and retire. You know? I mean, I'm okay with that. So if you want to buy a dining on a dime cookbook and start the dining on a dime cookbook craze, so this is what we have to do. We have to figure out how to get the dining on a dime cookbook craze going, guys.
Oh, we need to make it $500 for a book, like those other people are selling our books for on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see on Amazon or eBay our books for like $500, that's not us selling it for that price.
Yeah.
You can come straight to the source and get it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Hey, what's wrong with us for doing that?
I know. Bounty in the Badlands says Alberta sent out an emergency alert on Saturday to unplug as the grid was minutes away from going down. They specifically said cars. Yeah. They're talking like by the year 2050, we're going to be, that's only 25 years that we're supposed to be able to have the infrastructure to have all electric everything. That is absolutely absurd. We're talking 100 years worth of work to fix the infrastructure to have the kind of power we need. And I don't even think it's possible. How are you going to have enough solar panels and wind turbines to power everything? You're not going to be able to do it. I don't even think I don't even think it's physically possible. Unless everything went, what, nuclear maybe? Well, then that just seems really dumb to put everything nuclear then.
What? Why would it be dumb? I didn't hear what you were saying about.
Well, I mean, what other power source would you have aside from solar and coal and windmills? The only other thing is nuclear, right?
What would be wrong with nuclear? It's the most efficient power
source
on Earth.
Well, I know, but do you want to have nuclear facilities all over going like all Chernobyl on us? I don't know. Okay.
I mean, Kansas has been powered by one since you were.
Well, I know. I'm just waiting for it to go all Chernobyl on us. I was there when Chernobyl went.
You know why Chernobyl went?
Yes, because people were stupid.
Because they just cut everybody loose and said go home for the day, and nobody was watching the plant.
I know.
Did you know Kansas has the National Guard, Department of Homeland Security? They have this entire building that's just people watching that plant to make sure that everything's good all the time.
Okay, let's see. Holly, I think budgeting is a good thing. Yes, thank you. And Pikachu loves our cookbooks. Thank you so much. Jolene, laugh out loud, feel good about myself. Yeah, you'll feel better about yourself when you're debt free. Oh, there's a Tara quote. I think we should put that on a t-shirt and sell it. You can send me the next one. Olympia, if the devil was out, it wouldn't be so cold here in New Jersey. No kidding. That is
That's
for
because
sure.
he went down to Georgia. Oh.
Goodness. This is why your parents pick who you marry. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, mine definitely didn't.
Barbara said, I heard the radio personality refer to the windmills as seagull salad shooters. That's so true.
Ouch.
Mounting the Badlands. My new last extensions were frosted and frosty after doing chores in minus 51C this weekend. Oh, looked pretty, but only lasted until I got in the house. Yeah, I bet they just fell off, didn't they? Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, you definitely had it colder than we were. Cindy, what else do we have to do here in Kansas? I know, that's why we left Kansas. There's nothing to do.
For what was that?
Kansas needs to stop trying to promote tourism. Did you send me my next? Yeah. Okay. Kansas needs to stop promoting tourism because there's nothing to do. Kelly, you have mentioned a cappuccino recipe, but you can't find it anywhere online.
There's
Kelly,
homemade coffee recipes or something like that on the website.
Coffee recipes. Let's see. Coffee. Coffee. So we have coffee recipes. Page 440 in volume 1 and page 38 in volume 1. And then we have in volume 2, I thought I put a couple more. I can't remember. Yes, right here, page 29, 30 to 30. Page 29 to 32 in volume 2, and then go to livingonadime.com, and we have 10 coffee recipes. And I think cappuccino is in there. Maybe it's not cappuccino. Maybe it was the frappuccino. It might have been the frappuccino. I can't remember.
I thought there was a cappuccino mix on the Coffee Post anyway.
Yeah. Susan, what about cell phones? Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with the cell phones too. It's total. I mean, especially now, I have an iPhone. But I have an iPhone for the camera.
For shooting videos.
It's my business. It's a work object for me. And I had an Android before then, but the quality of the picture was not even close to being what it is on the iPhone. So for us, it's a business necessity.
And I don't have an iPhone, just her.
Yeah. So, but it's not a business necessity for a 12-year-old to have an iPhone. Believe me.
Well, I was going to say, probably 80% of all the students in America have $1,500 computer in their back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need it for? I mean, if you want to talk to, if some people, when we were kids, there could be nobody around and you'd have to figure out, okay, we're going to meet at this time. But okay, maybe if we could get a phone for one of the kids if they're at some sporting event and they're separated from everyone else, maybe that'd be good. But why do you need a $1,500 device to be able to have your kid be able to call you in an emergency?
And I bet Amy did not get her granddaughter Nadia a iPhone for her 7th birthday. Happy birthday, Nadia. Thank you for watching with Grandma.
Yeah.
Gail, I'm so glad you're home from the hospital and feeling better. Get well soon.
He says orange cappuccino.
Oh, the orange cappuccino? Okay.
Yes, you could leave the
Yeah, you could just leave the orange out. Dee Dee from England. True confession, I was given a Stanley as a gift. I have no debt, but the person who gave it to me does. Go figure. I don't have the heart to tell her to say it wasn't worth what she paid. Oh, man. Amy, I've seen those Stanley tumbers going for as high as $100. I know, it's ridiculous. Donna, our cookbooks have great value. It teaches skill. She's so happy to order. Yes, you actually learn how to cook. You learn how to save money. You learn how to get out of debt, starting with your grocery bill. Your grocery budget is the easiest thing to start saving money on. You don't have to be eating out. It is the easiest thing to start saving money on. 25% off our cookbooks right now, guys. B says, I was a penny pincher before I found you both, and now she's a super penny pincher.
Wow.
Elizabeth, the average cost of brunch now is between $80 to $150. That is ridiculous. Janet says, I know someone every day complaining about not having money and then stop smoking. It's okay if you can't afford it. Yeah. Then they won't stop smoking. I think is what she's saying. Yeah. Donna says she's guilty letting her sons play sports. I'm telling you, kids' sports is one of the top rackets nowadays. Well, it is. There's no reason for it. Absolutely none.
I mean, I played some sports when I was in school, but we didn't have 12 road trips a year where our parents would pay for airline tickets and stuff like that, motels and stuff for us to go. Like, we only played within some driving distance of the school. And I would say in today's dollars, the total cost would have probably been $100, $150 a year. We talked to people and they spent how much? $10,000, $20,000?
Oh, yeah. Easy.
And
easy.
Sports are fine, but that's cushy first world problems sports.
Yeah. Doodle Tube says, to save money, get the Dining on a Dime cookbooks. I made a batch of waffles today and froze them for the next snowy day. That is great. I'm so glad. Aren't our waffles delicious? Goldie Yorkshire says, I'm good with Stanley thermos. Yeah, so you want to hear a funny thing? She got her thermos for $2.50 at the thrift store. So I had Mike get me a new one several years ago for a Christmas present, a thermos for when we would go traveling to put my tea in. So I've had that thermos for a while. Well, I hadn't seen thermoses ever at the thrift stores because when we lived in Colorado, they just didn't have any in Colorado. And so I wanted one for our trips to have my tea to go in. And I've used it every single trip I've gone on. So I've gotten way more than our money back on that. But what's funny, you want to hear a funny story? We moved here. Last year, I found 2 Stanley thermoses for $1 at the thrift store. And guess what I did? I turned around and sold them for $20 on Facebook Marketplace. And I waited till hunting season started. Because I knew the guys would be wanting them for hunting.
Actually, there were times when we didn't have a lot of money, or maybe we were kind of short on money. And Tara discovered some things at the thrift store she could buy and then sell online.
Sewing machines. Yeah. When we lived in Idaho, I would buy sewing machines in Kansas, take them back to Idaho with us, and sell them on eBay. And I would pay like $10 for a sewing machine in Kansas, and I would sell them for $250 on eBay. Yeah.
Wow.
Jenny says we're her favorite peeps and she loves us. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank
Patty,
you.
I'm naturally frugal and still learn to save money with our books. Thank you so much. Yes, that's why we wrote them specifically to help you save money, specifically. Ian, cell phone service is easiest to save on. She pays about $130 once a year. It's unlimited everything through Red Pocket. Oh, cool. Very good. Susan, she pays unlimited $25 a month. Yep.
Yeah, we used to use Straight Talk, which I think it's through Walmart. And a lot of those companies, they just buy contract services off the towers of the other companies. So it's like Straight Talk was using towers from AT&T and T-Mobile and somebody else. So it was totally reliable for us at the time.
Yeah.
I think we ran into trouble when we moved to. Did we run into trouble when we moved here?
Yeah.
So we ended up switching.
Yeah.
But.
Jackaroo Lane says, I saved so much money using the ideas from our cookbooks. The butterscotch muffins on our website, livingonacom, are so good. Thank you.
Oh, those are delish.
Olympia says, my drinking cups are given to me by my students' parents. Yes, I bet they are. I bet you have quite a collection, too. Sarah, I have a source of Petri Farm bread for 75 cents a loaf, and I haven't bought bread in the grocery store for 2 years. That's great. Yeah, some of those discount stores can be really good. Kim, a budget course would be so helpful. I will have paid off $40,000 in debt in a year and a half. In a year and a half, come June 2024, put everything I have towards it, and I'm on a limited retirement salary. You go. That is great. Susan, she knows people who are paying $500 for the phone services. Yes.
Oh man, we used to know somebody who she was paying like $500 for the service, and then on top of that, paying payments on phones for like a big payment on each phone for like 5 people in her family.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked because at the time we were buying, I bought a cheap phone at Walmart and was using Straight Talk. It was like $20 a month. It's probably more now, but.
All right, let's see. Badlands, hubby and I both have flip phones, $30 plans for 20 years. No texting, surfing, or gaming. Yeah, that's great. Olympia collects bookmarks. That's a good thing to collect. Yes.
I collected them for a while, like because I liked really nice ones for my Bibles, but I think I finally got enough of them that I really like.
Yeah. ccesgarden says maybe which should be no debt and own a home. Actually, owning a home is not necessarily frugal. You can become rich just as easy renting as you can having a house. So I do not say that if you're going to be rich, you have to own a house. That's just not true. Olympia, yes, those Beanie Babies on hoarder shows. Yes. Heather, when you buy extra meat on sale and freeze it, what process do you recommend to defrost it when you want to use it? And do you just throw it in the freezer as it comes from the store like packaged chicken? So I'm actually going to do a video on this, but yes, I just throw it straight in the freezer. I don't repackage it unless it's bacon that I get in or chicken that I get in huge boxes. Like I got 60 pounds of bacon and I got 40 pounds of chicken. So I did have to repackage that, but I just put it in freezer bags and threw it in the freezer. And how do I defrost it? I just set it on the counter in the morning. And by the time dinner comes around, it's defrosted. It's usually still really, really cold by the time I need to put it in the oven. So it's totally fine. Jill will pay off her car next month. You go, girl. That is great. Yep, that is great. Beverly, I made the decision to quit having my nails done to use that money for something more important. That is great. I am doing my own nails. Like these acrylics cost me $2. So, Michelle, I should try oatmeal cookie recipe at the store. I found ready-made cookie dough for like $6. Yeah, it's crazy. Daffy, that's something we should test is homemade cookie dough versus store cookie dough. Using our dining on a dime chocolate chip cookies.
We need
Natalie
Jack in here.
Yeah, Natalie, my husband works for a propane company and he sees people have nice cars, nice phones, other stuff, but are asking for church to pay for their propane bill. He said one family has all the video game systems but didn't pay their propane. Yeah. I really hope churches aren't paying for these people's stuff. I mean, I'm sorry, but even if you have an unexpected thing happen, this is why you don't buy that stuff, so you have an emergency fund. I have no patience with people going to churches and food banks asking them to pay for this stuff when they've been irresponsible all the time. Maybe one time, if they're getting their act together, maybe one time. But the second time, no. If they keep coming back, no. Sarah, I got rid of my cable and I just have an antenna. Yeah, we haven't had cable for 20 years almost. Not quite. 15 years. We haven't had cable. Jessie, I have the first Dining on a Dime cookbook. She loves it. Bought it years ago and she saves tons of money since then. It's been a great stepping stone to help get her budget together. That is great. Start with your grocery bill. It makes me so mad when I hear Dave Ramsey say eat beans and rice. And I know he's being facetious. But you don't have to live on beans and rice to save money on your grocery bill. That's why the cookbook was originally named Not Just Beans, because you don't have to live on beans and rice to save money on your grocery bill. Esther, preach it. Wonder if your cookbooks are diabetic friendly. So I am on a diabetic diet, and I use my cookbook all the time, but no, it is not a diabetic cookbook.
Oh, we're getting questions. So we're using T-Mobile at the moment because it's through we have a business plan because we were having trouble with our signal for business stuff. But if we were in most other places, I'd probably use something like Straight Talk or I forgot there's another one like that. I would not use Mint. I would absolutely not ever use Mint. We had them briefly because a family member was involved in trying to promote them, and we paid a lot extra to have some service when Ellie and I went to Europe, and when we got there, it didn't work, and they tried to not give us a refund. So.
CC's Garden says the own a home comment was about Stanley Cup, and what I meant was not living in someone else's home for free. I'm sorry. Yes. You need to be living in your own house without mooching off of somebody else too. Okay, sorry, misunderstood that. Yes. Don't get me started on that one. All right, Barbara. I made your brownies for my husband's uncle last week because he had that thing going around and he said they made him better quicker. No medical claims, though.
What was it? Oh.
Volume 1. Our brownies, guys. Go to livingonadime.com and type in brownies in the search and you'll find it. That's great. I love it. Debbie, I have your first cookbook and your 20th anniversary cookbook. Is the anniversary cookbook the same as the second cookbook? No, it's the same as this one. This is a totally different recipe book. Totally different. Also, guys, if you're gluten-free, dairy-free like me, this is our gluten-free, dairy-free edition. No eating sand. All the recipes are tested and they taste delicious. And to start the new year off, guys, our 400-page, 366-day planner will help you get organized with all of your chores and get your house nice and tidy in 2024, but you don't lose any pages because it's undated, so you can start now and not lose any pages. Wanda says, I was already shopping the way you recommend because of how my mom did it. Her family were sharecroppers. They raised almost everything they ate and only bought what they had to. Amen. Very good. You send me the next one. Sarah, I really do hope you do a budget show. I try to spend only what I need. If it won't help me, I don't buy it, but I'm guilty of buying a few things to decorate my house. Listen, I'm the same way. And wait till you guys see what I bought at the thrift store this week. I got a haul. It's okay to decorate your house, but do it frugally, especially if you're in debt. So like me, we're trying to get our house paid off. So my decorating money comes from me selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace and that. I have a special envelope. That's my thrift store garage sale money. When I sell something, it goes in that envelope, and that's what I spend.
I did not know that.
Yes. My envelope's getting low because it's wintertime and I can't sell my plants right now.
Well, I've told you could spend money.
I know.
Actually, that she has this massive decorating operation. And the funny thing is, she buys all these, she just has some idea and she buys all these things for like $0.25 each at the thrift store. So like one season's worth of decorating costs what?
Oh my goodness.
$10?
Maybe 10 at the most. Well, and really with all the stuff that I've sold, I probably made money.
So
with all my thrifting stuff. Like I found a KitchenAid mixer for $45, and I turned around and sold it for $175. An hour later on Facebook.
Wow. It's funny. There are a lot of things that we bought used and it didn't work out for us. Yeah. So when Tara sold it, she sold it for double what we paid.
Yeah. Yes, I am doing a thrift store haul, guys. Be looking for that possibly next week. All right, Nancy. They can't even keep our homes on the grid 100% of the time. I know. It's ridiculous. How are we supposed to do all these cars? Karen, enjoying watching you guys while rendering lard on this snowy day. Ooh, yay. You go, girl. Caitlin, are we sure that some of these scenes of racing to get the cups aren't also marketing gimmicks? Oh, yeah, they are. 100%.
I mean, if somebody was freaking out about my product and showing it to everybody, I'd ride that horse all the way. Because the thing is, you're in business to sell things. But the issue is for the buyers. This is the thing back in the Depression. Just because somebody told you you should buy this product that we're selling, didn't mean that people didn't immediately assume I need to buy it because this person told me to. The person would think about it and say, well, I really don't need this kind of spray soap stuff because I'm using this other soap and it works fine. And they would just think for themselves on that. Nowadays, it's like, oh, look, there's this new thing. And we have a commercial with people looking happy when they're using it. And so you have to have it too. And everybody else is using it. So you'd be kind of yesterday if you didn't use it. So that's the main thing is it's okay to, people just need to realize that just because somebody is selling it doesn't mean you have to buy it.
Connie, I do sell my seasoning mixes. Actually, for you personally, I will sell you some. I actually put my seasoning mixes together for a fundraiser for my son's school. Did pretty well. So if you want something, let me know. You got my email. Jennifer, can you talk about people paying off debt with normal or lower incomes? I was Dave Ramsey, and it seems like all the people who call in and say they have paid off debt have really high incomes, $100,000 more. How much income do you have, and how much debt do you have? And I'm curious to see, and then I can maybe answer your question a little bit better. Let's see. Katie, she has all of 3 of our cookbooks right here, guys. 25% off right now, livingonacom. They are all amazing. I recently went gluten-free for stomach issues and didn't know how to do it. The gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook made it easy and less intimidating. Let me tell you, a gluten-free diet is so easy. It is so easy. Everyone gets overwhelmed. It doesn't have anything to do with the cooking stuff. It has to do with just making up your mind that you're going to be able to do this so you don't feel cruddy all the time. Melissa says it feels like date night with Mike and Tara. Lisa, I'm going to make roast soon. I don't like cream soups. What else could I do instead? So I just put seasoned salt and an onion on there. And that's how I do it. Go to Super Easy Recipes on YouTube. Do a search for roast, and I have my roast recipes in there.
And I'm sharing the link to Super Easy Recipes right now.
Amber, we as a society are not in the business of doing without, and we often wind up just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. Cynthia, one of the best things that my mother did for me was tell my teenage self when I wanted to go to Weight Watchers, fine, but you need to pay for it yourself, and I'm not going to cook 2 meals. Very good. Cleaning Fairy says, I received a nice travel mug when I opened a bank account 11 years ago and still using it. Yep.
Wow. It's funny because I noticed sometimes the bank they start cleaning and they leave all this stuff out on the counter. And it's like, take it. It's free. I mean, it's marked with the bank's name on it, but hey.
Yep. Saying the scripture says, remember when they said there would be an ice age? Yes, I remember sitting in class looking at the chalkboard, them telling us that we were going to be having an ice age. And then it was global warming, and now it's climate change. It's like these people are just manipulating you. Stop voting for them.
Well, mainly the thing to realize is we don't really have that much control over what the earth is doing.
Yeah. Elaine made the baked pork chops and potatoes from volume 2 today, or volume 2, and her family absolutely loved it. Thank you so much. Pork chops are on sale this week, and I thought about getting some to do that for a video. Gigi's Garden says, rant, can't think for self. As a society, we depend on technology to think for us more than we should. My phone has given me so many reminders. Made me say, really? Do I need that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, one of the best things to do if you want to save money on stuff is, especially if you feel like, oh, I really have to have that now.
Yeah.
Is to think, I'll think about it till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And most things by tomorrow, you won't really want it that bad.
Mm-hmm. Dine It Frugal with Danny says, same in Australia. They are wanting us to replace our gas appliances for electricity while they sell the natural gas that we mine to China. That makes me so angry. That makes me so angry. And then people get mad at me because of the way I vote, because I don't fall for that stuff. Sorry. That makes me so angry. Jennifer, everyone thinks they have to keep up with the Joneses. Exactly. Jenny, I don't have everything I like, but then I don't want to spend money on it. Am I weird or what, y'all? You're weird. No. Kim, I made your French dressing and cream soup mix today. Thank you. She's making the muffin mix tomorrow. She loves our cookbooks. Thank you so much, guys.
Actually, on that other comment, I was going to say, there are a lot of things that sometimes I think, oh man, I'd like to have that. But when I realize what the price is, I think, I don't really want to have it that bad. It's funny how putting a price on it determines how much you really want it.
Yeah.
How many hours are you willing to work for it? If you're willing to work a year for it, it must be really awesome.
Joanne, did the sewing machines need repaired? No, I had bought them from a sewing repair guy where he got them for free or cheap, and he made sure they were all in really good shape and then just sold them really cheap. Mary, I'm eating out of the pantry and I'm amazed how long it's lasting. I know. I could eat 6 months easy out of our pantry. Sue, Tara's cookbooks would be great Valentine's gifts for family members. Thank you. Yes, they would. Darlene, does the stove work behind you? If so, you could have cooked on it. It does not. We have to get an electrical thing in here for it, and we just haven't done it yet. So what happened was we set this whole fancy schmancy studio up, and it looks great. But I tried doing cooking videos out here and they were not working. I had to keep running back and forth to the house and it was just a nightmare. And so, yeah, that was a huge fail for us. Huge fail.
Well, but the lady that sold it to us said that they were using it in the building that they were using it in. So it probably does work. It's just that we don't have power run for it. Mm-hmm. I could probably do it though. She
said they used it just a couple of months before we bought it. Amy, yes, Living on a Dime cookbooks for gifts. Thank you. Can you send me the next one? Thank you. Thank you. She says they will thank you later. Sandra says, bring back the Floby. Do you remember the Floby?
I don't know what Flobies were, but another lady seemed to say the same thing.
Oh, my goodness.
It's some kind of a hair thing it looked like. I just Googled it.
It's that hair cutting tool that you put on the end of your vacuum cleaner. I thought that was the most brilliant idea. You put it on the vacuum cleaner. That's what I need for you is where can I find a Floby? Let's see.
Well, probably at your local vet clinic.
Does Amazon have a Floby?
Isn't that the same thing they use at veterinarians?
That's what we need for the winter for cutting your hair. Here it is. Oh, $219.
Wow.
Oh, never mind. I'll just keep cutting your hair the normal way.
Or are they?
They got to be. Surely they're not still in.
It looks like they might be new. 300 plus bought in the last month. Oh, okay. So it's not a huge number.
They actually still make them.
Wow.
Okay, Floby. If you want me to test your product, I would love to test your product, especially in the winter here. See, look at the before and after of the man.
Wow.
See, you could look like that.
Wow. Even his eyes have changed and everything.
Look at you guys. Hold on.
you go to.
Hold on, you gotta say this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Floby, you got. It's not even the same man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's marketing at its finest. Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
yes, it is.
Oh,
Oops.
okay.
There we go.
That was good. Pam thought we were talking about hockey in the Stanley Cup. I know, Mike did too.
Well, it's funny, yeah, because I mean, I don't know. That's all I ever thought about. It'd be like talking about the Denver Broncos, and you're actually meaning a candy bar. Like what?
No, there is not a Denver Bronco candy bar for anybody wondering. Donnie says, I'm a frugal person too. My parents were, we lived on a farm with 7 of us. My mom was good for teaching us things for future after leaving home. Good. I have totally failed with my children in that area.
In which way?
Teaching them things.
I think someday they're just going to be walking along and it'll be like, Eureka! Mom, you'll never guess what I just thought of. It could be like, you're remembering what I told you back in 2003.
Wanda made our sausage, gravy, and biscuits in volume 1. It was delicious. Yes, sausage gravy with biscuits is Mike's favorite.
Yum.
Of course, he's from Texas. What do you expect? Don, do you agree with Dave Ramsey's guidelines? So, yes and no. I think it's fine what he's teaching. But even though he says you're not going on vacation, you're not doing all this stuff, people are not understanding that just because you put it in a budget is not going to solve your problems. Just because you budget for it doesn't mean you should be spending money on it. Just because you budget for Netflix doesn't mean you need it. Just because you budget for that iPhone doesn't mean you need it. Just because you budget for getting your hair dyed and your nails done and your toes done doesn't mean you should afford it. Just because you budget for eating out doesn't mean you should be eating out. Just because you budget for vacation doesn't mean you should be going on vacation. Just because you budget for your car doesn't mean you should spend $20,000 on a car when you can spend $5,000 on a car and get those $100,000 worth of debts paid off. So I'm not real big on budgeting because it's not about the budgeting. It's about you turn your heat down to 65, 68 degrees in the winter. You turn your AC up to 78, 80 degrees in the summer. If you are in hawk up to your eyeballs, you cannot afford to have your air conditioner less than 78 degrees. Period. And don't email me with all the exceptions. I know there's every exception in the world. I'm talking about the 99.9% of the people that aren't the exceptions.
Well, something else I was going to say on that is there are cases where somebody's thing is so radically out of whack that Dave says, you're selling your car, you're buying a beater, you're eating beans and rice, and that's fine. But there are a lot of other people where they have a lot of debt, and it seems like the whole budgeting thing still includes a lot of the things that you want that you don't really need before you're actually out of debt.
Yeah. You should not be paying for your kids' college at all until you have at least $500,000 in your retirement fund. And your house is 100% paid off. All your debt and your house and everything, and you have $500,000 in your retirement fund, then you can pay for your kids' college. I also don't agree with, what was the other thing? I don't agree with, oh crud, there was a couple of other things that I was thinking of. Let's see, the kids' college. Oh, I really don't agree with not having a credit card and having no credit score. You don't need a credit score if you're not getting a loan except for a house. Yeah, you need a credit. I don't care what he says. You need a credit score to buy a house. It is horrendously difficult to get a mortgage without a credit score. And he is sending you to the people that are paying him to advertise as these approved people that he has. They pay him to be an approved person. And I had a friend who did the whole Dave Ramsey thing, and they were totally debt-free for 20 years, made a very low income, saved up $20,000 to put a down payment on their house, and they barely got the house. They spent months. We are talking, I don't remember, it was a ridiculous amount. It was like 4 to 6 months going through the loan process because the loan company would not give them a loan because they had no credit score.
Well,
I think that's totally wrong advice. But he's the one making millions, not me. So,
well, the main thing is he has a specific target audience. And like, if you have somebody who just can't control themselves on their spending, they just haven't come to that place, then you tell them, cut up your credit cards, put your credit cards in an ice cube or whatever. But there's a point where if you actually are wise and use your resources wisely, like with us with credit cards, we use credit card. We have one for the business and one for the personal stuff, and we use them to buy things online. And I pay them before the month is over, usually even within a couple of days. So several times during the month, I'll actually send stuff to make sure that it stays as low as possible. But it has been useful. Like we bought that iPhone for Tara to use for shooting videos because she just doesn't want to have the whole crew come in and set up all the gear. She wants to just press play or press record and have it record. And it has a good camera. So for the business, we did that. And we were going to just buy a phone outright, but it was going to be $1,500. But I forgot how it worked out, but our phone carrier had a deal where basically because they wanted us to stay on over a certain amount of time, there was no charge for it if we kept our account with them for 2 years. And we had a friend in town, some friends in town who are also people that don't like debt, but they don't have any credit cards or anything at all. And they tried to do the same thing and were unable to do it. So in that case, I don't like to have anything that even resembles debt, but like Tara's phone, we know for sure our business needs this, and
we have the money in the bank to pay it today,
and
if we needed to.
And if we decide we don't want to pay for that anymore, we can still buy the phone outright from the company. So we're not like borrowing and paying interest on a debt, but nevertheless, that's an option we wouldn't have. So there have been some options. And even though I realize when Dave talks about like manual underwriters and your hometown bank and all that it's possible to do those things, it's a lot easier if you don't have to do it that way.
And we used one of his ELP people back, 15 years ago or whatever. I don't know if that's what they were called then.
Real estate guy. Yeah.
And those realtors were the worst ever. And they were recommended by Dave Ramsey.
Well,
I was so ticked off. Well,
one thing I would say on that is I'm sure they do some sort of checkups on these companies, but I think they look at reviews. They look to see that they haven't been sued for something major, but that doesn't really give you the picture if the company is a good company. Like the real estate agent that was referred to us, they were the kind of place that they get everybody, they like give them a toaster if they write a good review on Google or various other places, and then they get on there and they challenge the reviews that are negative. So basically they have a perfect 5-star rating. And I can tell you, if you're looking for a product or service and you look on Google and it's 5.0 stars with one review is fine. But if it's like 300 reviews and it's 5.0 stars, there's something wrong. That usually means that they're gaming the reviews. And I suspect what they do is they have somebody spend a little bit of time on each one, just making sure they don't have any lawsuits against them and that they look like they're rated well online. and that's about it. So if you get somebody from there, you need to really check them out yourselves.
Yeah, Melinda says my mother didn't have a credit card and she couldn't fly on a plane, rent a car. She had to get a card from the state of California. Yeah, I know. You can get around it, but there is, Kitty Cat 2 says they had a bad experience with an ELP realtor. Never again. I will never recommend that. It was awful. It made me so angry.
I was going to say, I don't think it really means very much.
And it was the same similar thing. We had a good credit score. We had an over 800 credit score.
Wait, isn't 800 the highest?
I think it was like 850 is the highest.
Oh, yeah.
We had an 800 credit score, and we still could not get a loan with a huge down payment. Like it was like 40% down payment because we were self-employed. And this ELP person was supposed to be so great and wonderful.
No, actually, I thought the ELP was the agent.
It is, but the agent was working with the loan officer and couldn't get it figured out.
The problem that I remember having with that agency is they called themselves a team. And so you had to call and talk to one person if it was about the money part, another person if it was about inspections, another part. And when it came, and we constantly were having trouble where I was having to run the errands I was having to call everyone.
We were doing all the work.
Well, I was having to call all the people on the team because the team wasn't communicating inside the team. So it was a team realty place, and they had huge numbers of reviews because
Keller Williams in Wichita. If you guys were in Wichita,
because they had a lot of different people. And so as we were approaching the closing date, I was saying, well, what about the appraisal? Is the appraisal in? Well, what's going on with this? Well, who's got this? Where are the closing papers? Where are we going to meet? What's going to happen with the keys? And everybody was like, it's fine, yes. And Bobby would, I'm just making up names here, but Bobby would say, Susie's taking care of that. And I'd call Susie, and Susie says, Mark's taking care of that. And Mark says, Bobby's taking care of that. And I realized nobody's taking care of that. And if I hadn't been running it down while driving the moving truck from Kansas to Colorado on the phone, we would not have closed on the house that day when we were between two separate houses. So
Keller Williams in Wichita should be ashamed of themselves.
Of course,
I don't care if it was 15 years ago.
I was going to
say, be ashamed of themselves.
They might be different people now, but the problem at the time was definitely the whole team realty thing. And I think they just had really good reviews online.
I'm going to go buy a Flowbee and take out my frustrations.
But those reviews are not necessarily reliable. In fact, in Colorado, I wish I could remember the name of the place because I would definitely name it. But in Longmont, Colorado, there was a mechanic that had like perfect 5-star review, and we took a vehicle there, and they really took advantage of us in that situation. And I realized they were gaming the reviews. So that's when I realized the high end of amazing reviews for somebody that has 500 reviews would be 4.6 stars. If it's more than that, it's probably a scam. And you should always look at what people actually say in their reviews, because if they say it was amazing and once we got some some issues worked out, that means it's going to be a complete disaster and they just didn't want to say so. So, yeah.
Donna, homeowners insurance in Florida is very expensive. Oh, I bet it is. That's why I'm not in Florida. Goalie. No offense, my friend. No.
Oh, I was going to say.
But if she watches this later. Oh. And there's alligators. Pounding the Badlands made bread pudding this week. Used up the last quart of eggnog. Yes, we have actually a whole article on livingonadime.com on how to use leftover eggnog. I hope you haven't thrown it away. Use it up. French toast, bread pudding, waffles, pancakes. It makes such good baked goods bread. But right here is the bread pudding. Bounty in the Badlands. Thank you. Joanne, I wish I could find a cheap Christmas green fake wreath. Just watch garage sales this summer and you will find them. Wanda loves your expressions. Heather, do you think Crystal Light or Walmart drink mix is unhealthy to drink daily? Well, how much are you drinking? I mean, I would say 2 or 3 is probably fine. I don't know that I would be drinking 8 or 10, but 2 or 3 is probably fine.
You know, a lot of people are talking about the credit score thing, and I was going to say one thing about that is we don't really worry about our credit score.
Because we don't have any debt and we're not buying anything else.
Yeah, well, but we do like keep one credit card for the business, one for the personal. That we put things on there, usually online spending, because if we put a debit card on there and it gets compromised, it's hard to get the money back when it's out of the account. But when it's a credit card and somebody's compromised it, as long as you let the credit card know as soon as it happened, or as soon as you're aware that it's happened, then they're on the line for the money that's in flux right now. They don't have to get your money back for you.
But the whole kids' college credit, the whole kids' college thing,
and so
you don't need to be paying for kids' college.
But for us on the credit cards, though, that we use it for that purpose primarily, and we pay them off all the time. And so I think if you can do that, we don't really worry about the credit score, but if we needed one, it would be fine. Like when we bought this house.
Yeah. So
well, college, the thing about college is that the majority of people that go, it's a complete waste because they don't use it.
Well, and here's the thing. I heard somebody call in, and it was John Deloney's show, and the guy was like, my 17-year-old wants to get married as soon as she turns 18 in August, and I don't know what to do for paying for it. And he's like, well, and they were talking, and he's like, well, I know I have to still help pay for school. No, if she's married, you're not paying anything. You're not paying college. And both John and this guy were going on as if his daughter, who's planning on getting married in August, if he was going to still be paying for her college. No, she's a married woman. Her husband is head of the house. They are paying for their own college now. So that kind of stuff I 100% disagree with. I don't think it's right. All right. When should one declare bankruptcy? Well, it depends on the circumstances. I mean, I'd have to know your circumstances, but if you have absolutely sold everything you can, you're working 60, 80 hours a week, your husband is working 60, 80 hours a week, and you guys are just really not able to pay it off, and it's like medical debt, I would say, if it's hundreds of thousands of medical debt, you can't get rid of student loans, so you have to pay that. But I know person after person who goes and charges their credit cards and then they go and claim bankruptcy. It makes me so angry, but that happens all the time. Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said about that. That's fine.
Mary says, about to make the chicken curry recipe for the second night in a row because it was so good. Isn't that delicious? Super easy recipes. We put a video up making that just a couple of weeks ago, so go check it out. Kimberly, I actually have stepped away from HGTV and many of the influencer design accounts because it makes me feel like crap. Yeah. I don't watch. I mean, I look at decorating stuff, but it's more like thrift store finds or farmhouse decorating or something. I don't look at all of the affiliate stuff.
But you used to watch a lot of that stuff, and you really don't anymore, right?
No, yeah. Well, we don't have cable, but Leah, she bought cookbooks for our kids for Christmas. They love them so much, and they love theirs. Thank you, guys. They're 25% off right now. Also, our daily, can you see the next one? Our daily planners. 400 pages, 366 days, undated, so you can get started right now and not lose any dates. Valley Badlands, the trains and trains full of coal from Alberta to BC heading to China would shock you. Nope, because they come right by here. I totally get it. I just shake my head with those that drank the Kool-Aid. I know. It makes me so mad. Rachel, her chickens are even cold. I bet they are. Okay. Next, Steph. If I want something really bad, I put it in my arm instead of the cart and walk around with it at the store. When I get to check out for the needed items, I'm usually over what's in my arm and puts it back. That's funny. Katie, everyone wants to keep up with the Joneses, but the Joneses are broke. Exactly. Sarah, any tips on keeping your electric bill in check during winter temperatures? Turn your heat down. 65 degrees, 68 degrees. Put on some clothes. You don't have to be wearing your parka in the house, but at least put on long sleeves and sweats. Eat warm foods like tea, cocoa, coffee, hot lemon water. Bake in the oven. Yes, it's using electricity, but you're actually cooking warm food and heating up your house at the same time. So Cora sent us an email today. Okay, Cora, we will look for it. Oh, yes, I replied to that. She got butter for 99 cents at Kroger. I was shocked. If I knew if that was at our Kroger in Gillette, I would drive the hour and a half each way to go get it. But I don't know. Christy, so glad we've been following your advice and stocking up with sales. We've been snowed in all week and have plenty. That is great. Jada Moore says she looked at the pet version of Floby and it's cheaper. Would you mind if I cut your hair with
the dog
the
trimmer?
dog trimmer?
Why don't you take me up to the dog bath place too?
Okay,
There's
that's
like a
almost
little-
as good as the hormone
There's
video.
a little drive-through thing with a little hose and all that stuff.
I wonder how much that costs.
Well, actually, we didn't mention that we've washed our shoes at the car wash before. One time last year
we got stuck in the mud.
we went up to the dump for something. Were you leaving something or picking something up?
Construction debris.
Oh yeah, we were taking construction debris up to the dump, and it was super muddy that day, and it was hard to get up the hill, and I can't believe they didn't even close it, but the whole truck was completely covered in mud, and we were wearing our hiking boots and stuff, and they were completely covered with mud. So we got to the car wash, and we were cleaning off the truck, and the boots are super sturdy, so that it's not like I wouldn't do this with tennis shoes because you might hurt yourself. But we used the sprayer to spray off the boots, and man, they were shiny like they were brand new after we were done with that. It was awesome.
Yeah. Heather, do you find it helpful to literally use cash when shopping, not online like Dave Ramsey recommends? No, I do not. Because when I am going shopping, I'm not just browsing. Well, okay, sometimes I do want to go to the thrift store, but I'm not going there to entertain myself. I'm not going there because I'm upset. I'm not going there because I'm sad. I'm not going there because I'm depressed. I'm going there because I'm actually looking for things that I either want or need. And some things like the decorating things that I bought this week are definitely a want and not a need. But I paid very little for them. And like I said, I had my garage sale money. And so it makes no difference to me if I use cash or credit card. I don't go to Walmart and think, I'm going to buy this chicken for $10 a pound because I'm putting it on the credit card. No, I still find the $1.49 chicken and buy that instead.
Yeah, I think the reason why that's the difference between when Dave is telling people use cash. A lot of what Dave is telling people is because he's thinking these people aren't going to be able to control themselves at all. But you're never going to succeed if you have to limit yourself that way all the time. Maybe if you have to do that for the first few months while you're learning to be more frugal, that's fine. But if you really want to succeed at saving money, you have to be able to train yourself to just say, I don't need that. And I'm going to pay with a credit card. And what I'm saying is, it's not the credit card isn't the problem. As the problem is if you're buying things you don't need, or you're buying things you need for more money than you should. Uh-oh. What?
Yeah. Amanda says, I work in a hotel and you can't stay in most hotels without a credit card for damages. Yeah. I mean, they can do that on debit cards too, but yeah, I totally get it.
Well, we do have a family member who has no credit card, and they require some sort of cash deposit, which to me is kind of more of a pain than it's probably worth. But mainly, I would say if you're worried about getting out of control, getting to where you can't control yourself on something, then that might be better.
Yeah. Yeah, Sherry, you and a lot of people sent me the meme about the Stanley Cup. It was funny. Heather wants to know, do you pretty much only buy food that's on sale? I mean, pretty much.
Almost always.
We live in Wyoming now. So our grocery stores are not as good as when we were in Colorado or Kansas or even Idaho or Texas. This is the worst grocery store situation where I've ever lived in town. And it's the best thrift store garage sale situation I've ever had. So it's a give and take. So the majority of my groceries come from Walmart. But that's the lowest price in my town, even though it's not on sale. Okay. So, and then if we have to go to another town, I'll stop by those grocery stores and pick up what's on sale if it's feasible. Like we were needing a GI scope, and the hospital here, the only place in town, wants $6,600 for something that if we drive to Colorado 5 hours will cost $1,200.
Or if we drive 30 minutes, it'll cost $2,400.
So infuriating. But if we were to have to make the trip to Colorado, then I would stop by and get, what I need for those kinds of things. Wow. Jacqueline bought 8 pounds of overripe bananas for $1. That's great.
Oh, did you send you more?
Yeah. The banana bread, Dining on a Dime cookbook. Absolutely best banana bread, she says. I'm telling you, this is the best banana bread ever. This is my recipe that I got from my neighbor when I first moved out on my own. And it was so delicious.
It's on the way to you now.
It is just so delicious. Louise, if you are on disability, I'm surprised you're not on Medicaid. If you're talking to me, I'm not on Medicaid. I mean, I'm on disability. I have Medicare, but it's not for me. So, Sue says, let's try to all get out of debt this year. Yep. 100%. I agree. Melinda. We wanted to get married. We eloped. We had been married 56 years and still going. We wanted to be adults. We did it. Yeah. It was hard, but it can be done. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I don't fund kids' college accounts. We skipped that step and went straight to paying off the house. Very good. Grandma's so happy. I know someone whose parent has enough money to pay for their college, but they are making their child pay for their own college. Yeah. I don't think parents should pay for their kids' college at all. Mine comes from a family where they all paid for their colleges, and it's been held over his head, even though it was a ridiculously small amount compared to what they pay now. But I knew it
was going to be held over my head, so I paid a lot of it myself anyway.
Yeah.
But few previous generations had all paid, and so my parents felt like they needed to pay, but they couldn't really in their budget come up with what the previous generations had paid. But at the same time, I just thought, you know what, I want to do this on my own. And they did pay for some, but I paid for a lot of stuff. And the total amount was really small.
Very small.
Because it was in-state tuition in Texas.
Yeah.
And at that point, they didn't have the lie that everyone needs college, which has really ruined college now.
Wendy, what's the difference between volume 1 and 2? So they are totally different recipes. It's just I couldn't fit these recipes in here. This is 600 pages, 1,200 recipes and tips, and this one is 500 pages, I think, with 800 recipes and tips. And so they can go together or separate, but they're all separate recipes. But both of them have easy recipes, get you in and out of the kitchen quick, without spending a lot of time or money, and with ingredients you already have.
And if you could only get one to start
with the red one.
I would start with the first one, because it has a lot of information about, generally how to save on groceries and it's like the basic beginners book.
Annie, I just paid off my 2021 Toyota. Now I'm completely debt free. Wow. Christine says, when I got married in 2012, my dad wanted to pay me $25 to elope instead of having a wedding. Just $25
in 2012.
Maybe $2,500. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Thankfully, our daughter's wedding was extremely simple. Rebecca, do you store your mixes in glass jars? I just store them in plastic bags, jars, however it's the easiest. Amazing Grace, we had our heat on 69 this week. Usually it's 68, but it has been below 0 here. Yep, there you go. Joyce says, heading out of town tomorrow, planning on stopping by a few thrift stores along the way. A friend laughs at me because I have a list of things I'm looking for. Yeah, I do that every time I go to the big city. I stop by the thrift stores and see what they have. Although I'll tell you that actually we are very fortunate and so thankful that here we have the best thrift stores and garage sales. Kimberly pays off her credit card every single month. Yes, that's what we do. Every single month we pay off our credit cards. We use them as a tool, not a crutch. Ooh, there's another good quote from Tara. I have our monthly bills that come out of there, and it's very easy to pay off every month because then I don't have to worry about it, and I just pay one bill. Yep. Jacqueline, I bought 8 pounds of over. Oh, we got Jacqueline. Yes.
Wait, Wendy. Wendy said a couple times, I'm anxiously waiting for volume 1 order. There's lots of hearts. Thank you. I'm glad you're excited. I just happened to look, and it's in DC. So it's real close to you. I was just going to mention though, we've had a couple people ask about orders. I guess people got used to how fast things were going before Christmas. The post office was just getting things at insane speeds to people. But in the last week, we had a big snowstorm and cold snap, and the post office trucks did not go a couple of days. So some of the things that we shipped, they're still going to be there in a reasonable amount of time, but it's just not as fast as they were before Christmas.
Yep.
So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Pam, make sure our videos are playing in the background. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for playing all of our thing. Our revenues are staying about steady, so that's really good, especially for January. All right. It's a mixture, Susan, of a couple of different lipsticks that I have. But thank you. Do I look?
Ooh, you look smoochable.
All right.
Wow, Melinda said I received my cookbook super fast. I think in 2 days.
Wow.
Post office is still going fast, much faster than they used to go. But winter in Wyoming, sometimes they close the interstate and then it doesn't go for a couple of days, even if we get it to the post office.
Yeah.
So,
Beverly just made our brownies from Volume 1, and they are delicious. She thanks us for all we do. Thank you. Aren't they the best ever? I got that recipe in my high school home ec class. It was so good, isn't it? And thank you, Kimberly, for watching the ads. We appreciate that. And Lisa loved
your funny face.
That's my come hither face. Am I come hithering?
I don't know. That would be great.
All right, guys, go check out our cookbooks. Dining on a Dime, 25% off right now. The green one is gluten-free. Volume 1 is red. Volume 2 is blue. And if you would like a free Bible, we give those away also. Heather says, our advice changes my life. Thank you. I love your personalities and sense of humor. She also loves Tara's blunt truth that she shares. See, somebody appreciates me telling it like it is.
Yep.
Do you appreciate me telling it like it is?
Sometimes. Yes. Hey, that's part of why I married you.
Are you wondering if your parents should have picked who you married some days?
Some parents.
Are you glad your parents didn't pick who you married?
Probably.
Denise, if you have the original Dining on a Dime, get Volume 2. All right, guys, livingonadime.com. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.